It's a gruesome mystery in Atlanta. A couple that just moved there from Buffalo was found dead in their home. Their family and their former pastor want answers. They spoke with 2 on Your Side's Claudine Ewing.
This is Deborah Jenkins Hubbard and her husband Harry Hubbard. She's 65, he's 67. The couple found dead inside their Atlanta home, and according to a Georgia medical examiner, the couple died before the fire. The cause of death, strangulation, and thermal injuries.
At first we thought it was just a house fire, but apparently something else happened in that house that morning.
And are police calling it a homicide right now?
They are, but we haven't received any official reports.
Keith Sylvester is Debbie's oldest child.
My mother was a good mother. She was a grandmother. She's a veteran. She was in the military. She worked at Buffalo Veterans Hospital. She worked at a lot of companies in Buffalo, like Joya, when they were there.
He said his mom moved to Atlanta last November, but the couple would go back and forth between Buffalo and Atlanta. We also learned that the Hubbards were members of True Bethel Baptist Church here in Buffalo before they relocated to Atlanta.
Very stable couple, active in their church in several ways. So it was a surprise. I know they've been going back and forth, living in Buffalo and Atlanta.
Pastor Pridgeon last saw the couple at his church in February. It's been quite a week in the city of Buffalo, and next week, services for a mother and her grandchild will be here at True Bethel, and so will the funeral services for the Hubbards.
For both of these situations to seemingly be innocent victims, these are not people who were involved in crime.
Atlanta police are still probing this case. They say the Hubbards were found in different areas of the home, and it's unclear if the fire was intentionally set to cover up the strangulation. The Hubbards were both veterans. The Sun tells me the couple was planning to relocate back to Buffalo and rent out their home in Atlanta. In fact, he says the couple had already purchased their plane tickets. The investigation continues. Claudine Ewing, Channel 2 News.